Hi friends, today in this video we are going to talk about the Goblin Market. It's a very great poem, and I remember even that my instructor asked a lot of questions in the exam about this poem. Well, before I start explaining the poem, I will just make mention of some informations about the Victorian age and also Christina Rossetti, the writer of this poem, and I will also make a very brief summary of the poem. I will summarize the story of this poem. Then in the other videos and in this video also, I will be explaining the poem through 10 videos. I will explain it in a very developed and detailed way so we can understand it. This poem is so easy, it's very easy, but reading this poem is great. I love reading this poem, and the words that are chosen in this poem is just beautiful. So thanks to Christina Rossetti. Anyway, before I start, who is Christina Rossetti? Christina Rossetti is a poet. She's a woman poet, a female poet who lived during the Victorian age. She was very educated. She was very educated woman from a very educated family, but her family were a poor family, and she also worked to help fallen women in the Victorian age. There were some fallen women, so she tried to help these fallen women who worked as prostitutes to save themselves. Okay, so, and the Victorian age in general started with the Queen Victoria. The people in the Victorian age were so conservative, and they even say that they described women as angels in the house, and also they say that they covered the table's legs. It's a metaphorical way to emphasize that they are so conservative, right? When covering the table's legs, it means the table's legs is is a metaphor or something like ladies' legs. So that is the information that I wanted to tell you about the Victorian age and Christina Rossetti. Now I will be summarizing this poem, the whole poem. So please listen with me to this brief summary of this poem. So the poem is about, or the story of the poem is about, well, it tells a story of two sisters, Laura and Lizzie, who meet a group of goblins in the forest. These goblins, they sell fruit, and Laura they sell fruit, but they are targeting ladies, and so Laura submit to the temptations of goblin men. Okay, so and she buy a fruit of them in deal, with the lock of her hair. So when she turned home, she got ill, and she could not find the goblins anymore. So the other sister, Lizzie, in order to save her sister, she goes to buy her a fruit for money. So Lizzie is going to buy a fruit in exchange with money, or a necklace, or a penny. But the goblins didn't want money. They wanted her, or her hair, her body. So they asked her to stay with them, but she resists. She resisted them very sorely, and then they started to attack her. But unsuccessfully, they tried to force her to eat their fruits, and they tore her clothes. Then when Lizzie came home, Laura sucks her sister's juices, because they forced her to eat their fruits, but she resisted. But while resisting, the water and the juices of the fruit are on her lips and on her cheeks and on her face. So Laura sucks this water, she started sucking the juices of the fruit, and she recovered. And at the end, Laura and Lizzie pictured as mothers, and Laura tells her children the story, and she gives them a moral lesson about sisterhood. So this is the very brief summary of this poem. Now I will start to explain the poem itself. I will start reading the very lines here. Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti. Morning and evening, maids heard the goblins cry, "Come buy our orchard fruits, come buy, come buy, apples and quinces, lemons and oranges, plump unpicked cherries, melons and raspberries, bloom down cheeked peaches, swart-headed mulberries." Then, wild free-born cranberries, crabapples, dewberries, pineapples, blackberries, apricots, strawberries, all ripe together in summer weather, morns that pass by, fair eves that fly. Come buy, our grapes fresh from the vine, pomegranates full and fine, dates and sharp laces, rare pears and greengages, damsons and bilberries, taste them and try, currants and gooseberries, bright fire-like barberries, figs to fill your mouth, citrons from the south, sweet to tongue and sound to eye, come buy, come buy. So this is the lines for today's video. At the very beginning, we know that there are some goblins, okay? But we don't know where they came from. We are only informed that they are targeting women. They are targeting ladies to seduce them and to persuade them to make them buy their fruits, which sounds so sexual, because the fruits as well as the goblins, they have a sweet tongue to seduce and encourage women to taste and try their fruits. So, as I said, at the very beginning we know that there's goblins, but they are targeting ladies, they are targeting women. And the fruits, in literature, sometimes fruits mean genitalia, or the private parts of male and female. And some critics also say that these fruits might be about the great empire of Britain, because England, as you know, England under Victoria, it was very big empire. And in fact when the reign of Queen Victoria, England reached the peak, as I have written here. So the multiple fruits, or that sheer number of fruits, cannot exist in one region back then, in the Victorian age, right? So because they don't have these techniques now to plant, for example, banana in Saudi Arabia, or to plant dates in England, it's impossible. So it can be an indication to the British Empire, with that which reached its peak in the times of Queen Victoria. It might present the genitalia also. So please, when you read this poem, you can put in mind so many ideas. Here I have written some ideas. The sun never sets on England, And as I said, here we have a lot of fruits, and these fruits cannot exist in one country. It's impossible in the Victorian time. I have written also the power of temptation, because fruits can be genitalia, or it can be the private parts of a human being. So it can also be about temptation. They try to, and as we see in the poem, the goblins are targeting ladies, and they try so hard to convince women to buy their fruits. It can also be about drugs. Why? Because in the upcoming lines we will see how Laura, after she is convinced to taste the fruits, she will try to eat again, but she won't find them. So it's like a smoke, or it's like a drugs. When you use drugs, you will be you will want to eat drugs again, to consume drugs again. It can be also about women's solidarity. Why? Because Lizzie is going to make a self-sacrifice to save her sister. It can also be about sisterhood. Again, the same as women's solidarity. It can be about gay sex, because we will find some very strong words that's used between the two sisters in the poem, and it seems like these sisters are in a relationship, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to understand the poem in a bad way, but the words that is used is so strong, is so sexual, and all because of in the Victorian age, women had a lot of problems. Women were raped, then they were left pregnant, so there might be some gay sex or gay marriage as a solution. We don't know, but again, as I said while reading the poem, please put in mind so many themes. This poem is diverse. It is you can understand it in the way you want, because our poet Christina Rossetti, she is very educated. So for today's video, as I said, we have at the very first of at the very beginning of this poem, mention of goblin man, strangers who are selling fruits and who are convincing women to buy their fruits, and the fruits are described so sexual. So this is the beginning of this poem. We will continue to explain the lines in the other videos. Okay, I will continue explaining all the poem in other videos. So this is the first video. I want you to understand the idea that is in this lines, in the lines from 1 to 31. We have just a lot of fruits are recited by the poet, and there's goblins who are selling these fruits. So we know just this information. Still now, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how dangerous the goblins are. We don't know whether Laura or Lizzie are going to submit to the temptation or not. Please, if you want to be informed about the other parts of the poem, continue to watch my videos. I will explain them in a very good way for students to understand. Please subscribe in my channel and like the video, and see you in another video. Bye bye.